next one we are playing is Mountain Time, and then we are playing From Gold. That will be the last one. All of the pieces that I sent were listed in the program, and I thought, well, if the band is like, a good solid band, what I expect, then we'll play Drums of the Summies. And if they're a little bit better than I'm expecting, then we'll play From Gold. But it was going to be one or the other. But they both ended up in the program. So we are not going to be playing the piece titled Drums of the Summies. We're going to end with From Gold. For the indefinite future, today is my last concert. I have been on the road every week for the past 15 years, easily. And to make a very, very long story short, my mom passed away this past July, lived a very full life. She died 3 days short of her 90th birthday. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the last 8 years of her life, she battled dementia. And the last 5 years were brutal, and the last 2 years were wicked. Couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't move, couldn't eat, couldn't tell you she had an itch, couldn't scratch the itch, nothing. Completely reliant for even the most simple of tasks. And my father is of the generation, and I see some people in this room of my father's generation, who believe that you stay at home, you don't go anywhere else. So he forbid my mom from ever being anywhere but at home, and said he would take care of her. And my dad's 88, so I'm an only child and the only surviving relative of both of my parents. So it was between my father and myself. And it was mostly my dad, but it was 24 hours a day, every day. And it just burns you out. That anybody, God forbid, I know I'm looking out here, I can tell you that disease is a challenge to any family. So 2 weeks after my mother's funeral, my dad falls down the stairs and breaks his leg. And what I had suspected anyway is something that is coming true, which is that my new job is going to be my dad. So I had 3 years of commissions in my calendar. I called and canceled them, refunded all their deposits, and all of my guest conducting gigs I canceled because I have to be at home. Now, he still lives at home and he's all right, but every day is I have my job. So there were 2 jobs that this one and another job from 2 weeks ago from Marywood University. People who had booked me long before, and I wanted to, honor that. So I said, well, I'm not going to cancel them yet. Let's see how things go. And then I forgot about them. And then they crept up on me. And then it was too late to get a substitute. So I did the one 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing this one today. And this is the last conducting job that's in my calendar. I might go out and do school clinics or little things that I can reschedule or one-day things, but this is it. And this is the last honor band or all-state band or anything like this that I think I'm going to do, even though I love it and I enjoy it and I treasure it. So today is very special for me. I told them I'm like a senior. This is my last job, but I have another job. My parents sacrificed a lot for me, and at 50, I need to just step off the world for a while and sacrifice for my dad, and then I'll see what the rest of my life holds when I'm. So I didn't want that to be the last thing in the concert, but when Mr. Childress explained that this is one of my last conducting jobs, no, this is it. The next piece we're playing is called Mountain Time, and I will let your sons and daughters and grandchildren fill in the blanks, but I got my son's memorial. And I told him that I would. I said, but it's going to be about 3 years because there's a waiting list. And then, as divine intervention would have it, this never happens, but the piece I was going to begin writing fell through. And I called him and I said, do you want your piece now or do you want it in 3 years? And he said, I'll take it right now. So I wrote it, and he premiered it at his school. And then I was also scheduled, again, ironically, to conduct the Utah All-State Band that same year. And I put that on the program, and I asked Breck, I said, is your tuxedo clean? Because I'd like you to be the guest conductor for the guest conductor and conduct your son's piece. And he did, and there was not a dry eye in the hall or outside the hall or anywhere. The name of the piece is Mountain Time, T-H-Y-M-E, like the flower. And it's based on an Irish folk song called Wild Mountain Time. The lyrics are from a Robert Burns poem. Robert Burns is an English poet, but it's used in this Irish folk song. And it's about a boy asking a girl if she will go up to the mountains and pick flowers together. And that's something that Garrett loved to do. So this piece of music is Garrett in heaven waiting for his mom to come up and go through the mountains and pick flowers for him. So this is Mountain Time.